Game time decision time for Ohio State against Penn State. Biggest game in the country this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch this over at Ohio Stadium. And these are, every week we pick what are like the crucial elements of this game, usually that Ohio State is going to maybe have to execute in order to win this game. Andrew, throwing it to you first. What's your game time decision for the Buckeyes?
I think I said something similar or the exact same thing last week, but it's how the offensive line holds up and what do you do if the offensive line does not hold up. You know, Penn State, there are a lot of metrics and there's a lot of reasonable minds out there that can say that Penn State is the best defense in college football right now. So what do they do really well? Their pressure rate is awesome. They get after the quarterback on every other pass attempt that their opponents have faced. So, you know, they really get after the quarterback. They really create havoc in the backfield. Their havoc rate's great. Tackles for loss, sacks. They really do things that disrupt an offensive line. So, if that's the case, what do? If Marv's going to get doubled the whole game, do you go underneath the Cade Stover? Do you go underneath the Julian Fleming? Is Emeka there? Like, how do you handle everything that's going to be happening if you have to get the ball out quickly? Are you able to run the ball against these guys? And if you're not, what is the solution to this, right? Like, what is the workaround to Penn State's defensive line is destroying our offensive line? What do? And I mean, look, the offensive line can hold up, and if the offensive line holds up, how does that impact the rest of the game? I just think so much rests on the shoulders of Ohio State's offensive line this week. I don't know how I look at anything else as more important than the offensive line. So I'm going to say that, and what happens in either aspect. Ohio State's offensive line plays well. How do you react to that? Ohio State's Ohio State's offensive line does not play well against Penn State's defensive line. What are the exit ramps that you have to try and get a successful offense going on Saturday?
I'm actually kind of looking at the flip side of things. I want to know how much will Jim Knowles be able to hold himself back from getting blitz happy again. And maybe that's not even a bad thing. I'm just very curious how he's going to approach that this week, because they have obviously backed off of that this year. They've played it a little bit more conservatively, and it's working out for them as maybe better than they could have expected. Like, they've been statistically one of the best defenses in the country. And this has not been a super explosive Penn State offense, and you don't want to be the team that makes them explosive. And if they can keep Penn State in front of them and make them drive, I think that is probably a recipe for success 9 times out of 10. But you've also got a relatively inexperienced quarterback in Drew Aller on the other side, and do you want to get a little bit exotic with it? Do you want to come after him? Do you want to get in his head, get in Mike Yurcich's head, and create mistakes, make them have to do things on your terms? I think that's going to be something that Jim Knowles can't shut off completely. So how much does he use it? When does he use it? How much does he disguise it? Who is he using there? I'm very curious about how that might all play out on Saturday. Stephen, what is your game time decision?
I'm really interested in the chess match between Ryan Day and Manny Diaz, especially if Emeka Egbuka can't play. Because if you noticed against Purdue, they were testing some stuff out there. They had Marvin in the slot at times. They had Julian Fleming at the slot at times. Xavier Johnson obviously plays in the slot. They moved Cardinal Tate into the slot at times. And they were trying to find matchups. And if Emeka Egbuka isn't playing, mixed with if Penn State is smart, they're going to double Marv. Because, listen, I understand Kalen King might be a first-round draft pick, but he got targeted 4 times with Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, and Marvin caught 3 of them for 70-plus yards. So that's not a problem for Marvin Harrison Jr. whatsoever. So what does Ryan Day do to get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball? How is he moving him around? It's almost going to be a game of, hey, where's number 18? But then also, where's number 17? Where's number 0? Where's number 4? How does Ryan Day try to create matchups in this passing game, knowing that Manny Diaz is on the other sideline trying to send every blitz you can think of, but also trying to make sure Marvin Harrison Jr. is seeing 2 jerseys as much as possible? Because, yes, teams want to take away Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's been getting 12, 13, 14, 15 targets every single game. They force feed him, especially on that opening drive. So seeing where these receivers are lined up and what type of mismatches Ryan Day is trying to create, that's all the more important in this week than maybe it has been in any other game so far.
Kyle McCord's expecting pressure. He said that the key to that is the preparation he's putting in this week, trying to steady things, trying to anticipate things. So ask yourself those what-if questions. And I think you're right. I think Manny Diaz, just as I was saying about Jim Knowles, I think they're going to try to come after maybe these young quarterbacks, at least in specific times, and try to rattle them, because both these defenses are pretty great this year, and I think this could be a good game on Saturday. Listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you can find it, and get the text 614-350-3315. A lot of intel that we'll probably be trying to share with you Saturday morning from Ohio Stadium from cleveland.com.